China's largest bank just suspended precious metals trading, and hundreds of thousands of investors are being forced out of their positions. ICBC, the largest bank in the world by assets, officially suspended retail leverage trading through the Shanghai Gold Exchange. Customers were given only three choices: close their positions, sell their holdings, or take physical delivery. Then their access was terminated. Trading through mobile banking was suspended. Online access was terminated. Bank branches stopped processing these accounts. Investors could no longer open new positions or continue trading as they had before. And ICBC was not acting alone. Several other major Chinese banks suspended similar precious metal services, terminated dormant accounts, refunded unused margin, stopped accepting new customers, and raised margin requirements as high as 140%. The official explanation: volatility. But China's been systematically dismantling its retail paper metals market piece by piece for years. July 24th was not the beginning, it was the final cutoff date. And here is where this becomes absolutely horrifying. One estimate claims there are now 358 paper ounces of silver for every physical ounce backing them. In other words, every ounce of silver you own, 358 other people think they own that same exact ounce, which is why I always say, if you can't hold it, you do not own it. So why are the largest banks in China suspending paper precious metals trading now? What do they see coming? And what happens when hundreds of paper claims suddenly come looking for the same ounce of physical silver? Because China may have single-handedly just shut down and terminated the same exact system that's been suppressing silver's price. And if this paper system begins to break, silver could finally be forced to reveal its true value. All right, Silver Stackers, this is your daily debrief. My name is Silver Slayer. Now let's just jump into it. 1 ounce of silver, 358 claims China is breaking the paper silver trade. China's retreat from leveraged retail metals trading shifts demand towards physical silver, exposing a Western paper market where hundreds of claims can chase every deliverable ounce. This is single-handedly how they suppress the price of silver, and China is skirting away from that. That is massive. The Western price suppression is getting exposed, and China is starting a new way. Now, if this takes over and silver's true value is based more off of the physical side and not just flooding the market with paper IOUs, this fake silver, then that would be massive. That would be huge. That would change everything. Now, before we jump into this very interesting, important article, by the way, this article goes a lot deeper, also talking about suspension and terminating these accounts and what all this means and how this could actually affect us moving forwards, moving from the Shanghai all the way to the COMEX or the LBMA or even the LME. Make sure you subscribe because I post every single day. So if you guys want the newest, latest, most up-to-date, recent information in the world of precious metals, specifically silver, then make sure you click subscribe. You will never miss a beat. I post 1, 2, maybe 3 videos a day. A lot of times I'll throw some YouTube shorts in there as well. I'm your one-stop shop. I will link this in the description. So here we go. China just pulled the plug on paper silver. Last month, ICBC, the Industrial and Commercial Bank of China and the largest bank in the world by assets, suspended retail leverage precious metals margin trading on the Shanghai Gold Exchange. That is massive. That is massive. This cutoff was July 24th. Clients were told to close their positions, sell their holdings, or take physical delivery. After that, access through mobile banking, online platforms, and branches went dark. Now, this kind of reminds me of what would happen to the COMEX if the facade got exposed, right? And we've seen very sketchy, very, very sketchy things happen to the COMEX when major orders come in, like they will have some type of like cooling failure or something will get messed up, and then things go silent. They freeze everything until everything blows over and all of a sudden things are back working again, which is also probably why the Silver Act has been imposed. Governments do not trust the COMEX as much, and that's why they're saying we got to make a new act, the Silver Act, System Integrity Through License Vault Expansion and Resilience Act, because the COMEX does not, there's no reason why every single silver vault in America is within 150 miles of the COMEX. of the New York COMEX. Why is that? And what if something were to happen to the COMEX? We've already seen system failures or cooling failures and all these other things. This is a national security emergency. We gotta have more vaults beyond just the New York COMEX. And that is exactly what they're focusing on. And I think it's reasons like this. Major Chinese banks suspend individual trading Shanghai Gold Exchange amid volatility. Risk controls intensify as banks seek to curb leverage trading despite expectations of resilient long-term gold demand. These banks stopped opening new accounts, closed dormant ones, refunded idle margin, and raised the cost of staying in. On some products, margin requirements were lifted as high as 140%. Why is this? The banks say they are shielding retail investors from volatility, and if you've been watching the precious metals market this year, that certainly rings true. There has been plenty of it. Gold pushed past 5,500 earlier this year before falling nearly 30%. Silver's ride was wilder, but still, as the chart shows, it ran to $121 in January before collapsing all the way to the high 50s. Well, it was the high 50s, but I think that was the bottom, and now we're headed back up. Now, while the run to 121 owed a lot of something China had already quietly done earlier in the year, more on that below, the plunge that followed was mostly the work of margin hikes by Chicago Mercantile Exchange, or the CME, which forced leverage longs to sell in the paper market. Let me read that again. Forced leveraged longs to sell in the paper market. And if you didn't see my video yesterday, I explained the difference between registered silver and eligible silver. There's a massive difference. There's a massive difference. I'm going to show you guys a picture real quick. COMEX says that there's 338 million ounces of silver in their vaults. But what they don't mention is the difference between eligible and registered. Eligible is not silver that is able to be accessed immediately. Those are private owners that do not have to sell. It's theirs. There's only 99 million ounces available that are registered. So they will say 338 million ounces, so it sounds like a lot, but out of that, there's only 99 million. That's very misleading. Now that we know this, we can kind of get an idea of why this is such a big deal, especially if China is skirting away from a paper silver system. This is not a temporary fix. You can sort of understand why Chinese banks are using volatility as the explanation here. Everyone still remembers 2020 when the Bank of China's crude oil treasure imploded amid the chaos of the COVID crash, which sent oil futures negative and left retail investors owing money they never expected to lose. But here's the thing. This is not a temporary suspension. Chinese banks have been steadily dismantling the retail paper trading infrastructure since 2020. New retail accounts tied to the Shanghai Gold Exchange were paused that year. By December 2025, banks were closing dormant accounts and returning unused margin. July 24th was the final cutoff. So now that the paper layer is gone, what is left? Physical pricing, of course. Physical pricing. Cut off all of the shenanigans. And this is the part worth understanding because the Shanghai Gold Exchange does not work like the exchanges we are used to in the West, right? That's very true. The paper contracts are backed by physical metal. If you want to own a paper contract on the Shanghai, you have to turn in physical metal yourself, so it's actually backed. The West, you don't have to do that. To get a paper contract, you don't have to do that. It just prints out of thin air. It's like an IOU. That's the difference. On the COMEX, the vast majority of contracts are settled with cash. Traders buy and sell paper claims on the metal that most of them never intend to touch. In practice, only a tiny fraction of contracts, well under 1%, ever end in someone actually taking delivery. The paper market, in other words, dwarfs the pile of real metal sitting underneath it, which is why they're able to get away with this. The trouble is, a market structured this way also leaves plenty of room for manipulation. And this isn't just conspiracy talk. In 2020, for instance, JP Morgan paid $920 million over exactly that. Years of its traders spoofing the metals market with orders they never intended to fill. I just mentioned this in my video yesterday. I actually showed the charges and the people that got sent to prison for doing this. It's very, very, I don't know what to say. I don't know how to say this. It's very illegal. I mean, placing false buy or sell orders, canceling the order before it goes through, tricking everyone else on the exchange, thinking that there's all this volume and volatility and all these orders coming in. Those other traders start acting off of these numbers that they don't know are actually fake. So they are influencing other traders on the exchange to do something that's a facade, right? And that's how they manipulate the markets. They'll place thousands, and they've got caught doing this for the past 8 years. Also, the Dutch bank Merrill Lynch and I think Saxo Bank also got caught spoofing, and three of their employees got sent to prison for doing this. But it goes a lot deeper. Now, and this is different though. Spoofing is not the same thing as COMEX corruption that's really going on, right? That these are totally two different things. So I don't know why they made it seem like this is the proof. This is just another form of manipulation. Meanwhile, on the Shanghai exchange, physical metal leaves the vaults by thousands of metric tons each year. In other words, when a contract settles there, actual metal changes hands, and the physical link has been baked into the exchange since it opened in 2002. The point is, China's doing this right away. Just think about what happens when you strip away the speculative paper layer of an exchange. A Chinese saver who wants silver now has to go buy the real thing, coins, bars, ETFs that actually hold the metal. Clearly, China's interested in getting its own people out of paper and into something they can actually hold. Now, the move behind the move. Of course, if you have been reading me this year, you will know this isn't the only thing out of China that should make you bullish on silver. Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna. I guess I can go over this maybe in case you haven't watched my videos or you're new to my channel. So back at the start of the year, Beijing also reclassified silver under dual-use export controls, the category reserved materials with both civilian and military applications. They banned silver exports basically, and only 44 companies have been approved to ship it abroad. So China is the hub for silver, right? Everyone relies on China to get their silver, but they banned silver exports. So they are putting a chokehold on everyone else. They're basically saying, you know what? We're going to keep the silver ourselves, even though y'all need it for military and all the other things. I know you guys go through us, but I'm actually just going to cut us off and I'll approve 44 people or 44 companies. You might remember China running this exact play before. First rare earths, then tungsten, then antimony. Now, put another way, how much silver gets produced depends largely on economy of metals, not the metal itself. So even if silver prices high and China tightens the taps, the world can't simply mine its way out of the shortage. And that's very, very true. All of this to say the silver story looks more bullish now, not less. Yes, the CME margin hikes forced the paper price off its peak and back into double digits, but that's all they did. They didn't change industrial demand. They didn't fill the deficit, and they certainly didn't change what China's doing to both silver supply and demand. The paper markets dwarf physical supply. Now they go over this like an old school metaphor of what happened, the silver shenanigans in Santa Fe, all this. We're not going to go over this. You guys can read this, but he's just giving a metaphor of how this happened before. Created 400 paper tickets, each represent his silver coin. He approaches Marx individually. Buy a ticket, you'll own a share of my precious silver. And then everyone bought them. And then you guys get it. You guys get it. How can one coin be worth 400 places at once? And then, anyways, yeah. I'm going to wrap this video up here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I really, really, really hope you guys understand this and how important this is of what China is doing, and if this does start, if this starts, I guess, being affected, or I don't think it will necessarily without something legally happening. But if it does start happening to the West and silver's true value starts to get exposed, or the metals actually start going off of fundamentals instead of just the paper silver oversaturating, overflooding the market, which, of course, is why this happens, why silver on paper doesn't make sense, right? The price does not make sense. Well, it's stuff like this. Stuff exactly like this. It should be going off fundamentals, not speculation or this or the COMEX or how much. Anyways, though, I love you all. Make sure you guys subscribe. I post every single day. Also, I'm doing a giveaway in 4 days. If you guys want a chance to win an American Eagle every single month, I have a group called the Secret Silver Society. It's on Patreon, and every month I do a giveaway. I put everyone's name in a wheel, and it looks really cool. It's like I spin this wheel, everyone's names go around, whoever it lands on, I send a silver eagle to, and there's only like 55 members, so your chances of winning are pretty high, especially since this is a monthly thing. So, at the end of the month, you always have something fun to look forwards to. Plus, there's a live chat, and you can DM me directly. So, yeah, patreon.com/silverslayer. It's really cool over there. I could do special videos, stuff that's just not on this channel. Become a member of the Secret Silver Society. Go make some friends, and you can post pictures of your stack. You can share interesting videos or theories or video ideas to me. Plus, you get a chance to win silver at the end of the month. So yeah, anyways, I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer. I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace.